Om. Om Brahmanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamatsyaadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Sadashivasamaramбhaं Shankaracharya-madhyamam Asmadacharya-paryantam Vande Guru-paramparam Shruti-smriti-purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat-pada Shankaram Loka-shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhasha Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha. Om Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Hari Om. So welcome all to this brand new class. I used to take a class on Friday, but it hasn't been for past number of years. And there was a request from few people that this text be taken. And the text, as I'm sure all of you have the books, you know that it's a fairly big text. It's over 600 verses. And therefore I could not take it in any of my regular classes. Last time we did it, it took about 2 years to complete. So I decided to do it as a separate class, it's like, certain verses I will go into great detail, but most of them I will not be going into that much detail because it's not necessary. The detail is not necessary. Most of you will find that all these concepts are quite familiar, but some of you are new. So for those who have for whom the concepts are familiar, it'll be a revision. It's a revision for me, and those who have not heard it at all, it'll be new. So it'll be good. At the end of the class, I will give a few minutes if anybody has any questions. You also can email your questions to me. My email address is on our website, or you can send them to Dinesh, and Dinesh can forward them to me. So I will answer those questions either right or the ones that come on email in the next class. For those of you who are not, everybody's familiar with me now? Everybody who has joined? Okay. My name is Jaya, by the way, Jaya Muzumdar, and I have done the course and have been appointed by Swami Tejomayananji as the spiritual teacher for Chinmay Mission, Vancouver. So I am based in Vancouver, and those are my qualifications. I completed the course, 2-year course, about 10 years ago. This book, a beautiful, beautiful book by Bhagwan Shankaracharya. Is everybody familiar with Bhagwan Shankaracharya? I know some are saying yes. I know those who have been, no, right? Not everybody, not everybody. Okay, all right. Just a quick, I'm not going to go into detail. Bhagwan Shankaracharya is considered as an avatar of Lord Shivji. His parents were they did not have a child, and they were great devotees of Bhagwan Shivji. So it is said that one day Shivji came in the dream of the father, Bhagwan Shankaracharya's father, and asked him if he would like a son who would be long-lived but dull-witted, or a son who would be short-lived but extremely intelligent. And the father said he would like the short-lived but the more intelligent child. And therefore Bhagwan Shankaracharya was born, and the birthplace of Bhagwan Shankaracharya is now owned by the Chinmay Mission. Gurudev, when his descendants, they could not maintain that property where he was actually born in the house, then Gurudev bought it from them for the mission, and it is our Chinmay International Foundation. That's where the International Foundation is. It's just so that all of you know. Soon after his birth, his father passed away, and when he was 8 years old, he wanted to take sannyas, but his mother refused. Without the mother's permission, sannyas cannot be obtained. His mother refused. So one day he did this Leela, this Maya, where he had gone to the river to bathe. A crocodile caught hold of him, and he shouted, "Oh mother, if you give me permission to take sannyas, this crocodile will leave me, otherwise I'm dead." So the mother got really scared, and she said, yes, I permit you. And the crocodile left him, and then he came. It is the crocodile of Sansar. It is to be understood that it was not a real, if there was a really real crocodile, then he wouldn't have left Bhagwan Shankaracharya's leg or hand that he was carrying. It is this crocodile of Sansar that was holding him, and that's what holds us. We are caught in the grip of this sansar, and it doesn't allow us to get out of this Maya. This is Maya, Bhagwan's Maya. This is this world, and it doesn't allow us that grip. So his mother allowed him and to take sannyas, but put a condition that when she were to pass on, he would be the one to give her the final rites. With that, he left, he walked up to his guru, and his guru's name, and that's what's coming here now in the first verse, Govinda Padacharya. It was in meditation, and this 8-year-old boy, maybe 9 years old by then, because he had walked from Kerala all the way south to the north, to the Himalayas. He was sitting in front of his guru, and when his guru opened his eyes and asked him, "Who are you?" he gave out the Nirvan Shatakam, Mano Buddhi Ankara Chittani Naham. So the 6 verses told the guru that the disciple was already ready. There was no what is to train when he's saying, "I'm not this body, mind, and intellect. I'm not the pranas. I'm not this, that, etc." So the first assignment was given to him, and that was the commentary of the Vishnu Sahasranam, which he did. And he went on to then write commentaries on the Bhagavad Gita, the 10 major Upanishads. And at age 16, he wrote the commentary on the Brahma Sutras. There are 550 Brahma Sutras. The commentary that he wrote at age 16, even Sanskrit scholars cannot follow it until there are 3 other commentaries on top, like below this. So to understand Bhagwan Shankaracharya, what he wrote at age 16, the scholars have to actually study from tier 1. So 1, 2, 3 commentaries they have to study before they can even go into the commentary. So that tells you the intelligence, the capability. He wrote many texts, Tattva Bodh, Atma Bodh, Vivekachudamani. He wrote a lot of, hymns, Ganga Stotram, Badri Stotram, like bhakti texts. He established 4 ashrams, 4 mutts in the 4 corners of India. And he also gave the administrative rules of how that ashram, how that mutt is to be administered. So karma yoga. So he did that, and those rules are being followed even as of today. What he wrote in 700 AD. At the age of 28, he was supposed to depart, but he asked for, it is said he asked for an extension. So he lived to the age of 32, and with him, it is said that he just walked into the Himalayas. There is no record of him taking samadhi or what happened to him, his body rather. There is no record. He was a great Advaitin. He argued. That time there wasn't any fist fights. There were discussions. So he discussed with all the other schools of philosophies, and he established Vedanta as the final philosophy, Advaita Vedanta, complete non-dualism, complete absolute non-dualism. That is what he established before departing. And we follow his teachings. Gurudev followed his teachings. Tapovan Maharaj followed his teachings, who is guru of our Guru Swami Chinmayananda. So with that much, he's done a lot of miracles in his time. There's a book printed by the mission called Shankara the Missionary. So if you can get a hold of that book from the Calgary Mission or Vancouver, I have a few copies that will tell you all the miracles that he has done. Kanakadhara Stotram, many miracles he did in his life. Okay, so with that much of introduction, I think that's enough. Vivekachudamani, Vivek, discrimination. For those of you who have studied Tattva Bodh, it is the first qualification that is required for a spiritual seeker. Vivek, Vairagya, Shat Sampatti, and then Mumukshutvam. That is what was said there. So Vivek is the first thing. Vivek is discrimination, and the highest definition of discrimination that is given in Tattva Bodh by Bhagwan Shankaracharya himself is Sat Asat Vivek. The differentiation between what is really real and what is mithya, what is false. That one word Vivek, in this 600 verses, he will be doing that Vivek discrimination, 666 verses. So Vivek Chudamani, Chudamani is the crest jewel in the, in the crown. That's what it is. So the text is named the crest jewel of discrimination. That is the name. That is what the name means. Vivek Chudamani. It is the crest jewel of discrimination. It is the highest discrimination. He has gone into so much detail, taken pains, and written in a very, very poetic fashion. The text, many verses are they can be chanted like poetry, and if I can't chant it, it's because I don't know, but there is a meter for every verse. Okay, and we'll try and get the meters for most of them, and we'll carry on. Okay, so first verse, always in we'll read it first and then we'll explain. Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tama Gocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham. My salutations to Sri Sadguru Govinda, who is of the nature of bliss absolute, who can be known only through the import of the essence of Vedanta, and who is beyond the reach of the known instrument of perception. Govinda, I told you, the first word in the second line, Govinda refers to, actually, this can be taken in both ways, like Gurudev himself has said, this verse can be interpreted in two possible ways. One way is to consider this word Govinda as him, Bhagwan, referring to his Guru, Govinda Padacharya. Okay. And the second way to look at it is to look at this word Govind as the supreme reality. Go means, one common meaning is cows. So Govind means the one who protects the cows, and the one who protects the cows was Bhagwan Shri Krishna. So it is Krishna's name, one of Krishna's name, Govinda. Go also means senses. So one who has obtained complete mastery over the senses. Go also means Vedas. So one who knows the Vedas in their full essence. Go also means earth, one who is the protector of the earth. Satyabhama in Krishna Avatar, Satyabhama is Mother Earth. She is one of the wives of Bhagwan Vishnu. So she took birth as Satyabhama. So Govind has those two meanings. Now, you can take it in any way. So when he refers, he's describing this word Govind as Paramananda, supreme bliss, as being of the nature of supreme bliss, Paramananda. So even if he is referring to the Guru, he is saying that my Guru is none other than the supreme reality. Or if he's not referring to the Guru and he's actually directly referring to the supreme reality, then the supreme reality, this is a description of the supreme reality, it is of the nature of supreme bliss, a bliss which never fades, a happiness which is not because of, it is in spite of. So it never fades. The happiness that we know, that we are aware of, fades. Things give us happiness, and then after a few days, then it doesn't give us any happiness anymore. So that happiness which comes and goes is not Paramananda. It is only Anand. It is not, Ananda means bliss. It is only pleasure, the one that comes and goes. So if the object is not this thing or whatever, it can go. Whatever is dependent on the senses is pleasure. Because if that sense organ then does not function, you will not get happiness from that. You say you get happiness from color and form, and the person goes blind, then that happiness is no longer for him. Or a person enjoys music, which is dependent on the ears. If he goes deaf, then he can't enjoy. So whatever is dependent on the senses is pleasure, and whatever is not dependent on the senses is Paramananda. So he says, my Guru, or the supreme reality, is of the nature of supreme bliss, a bliss which never fades, which never wavers, which never becomes less and more and comes and goes, and no, not like that. Paramananda. Sadguru. So he is a Sadguru. So either you can take it, if he's talking about his Guru, a Sadguru is one who is a Brahmanishta and a Kshotriya, as we have studied it, Mundaka Upanishad. That one becomes a Sadguru, the one who has realized the self himself. Okay, otherwise others are all teachers. They're teachers. There are lots and lots of teachers of Adhyatmic Vidya, but they are then just teachers. But there is a Guru, and then there is a Sadguru. A Sadguru is one who is both established in the truth, Brahmanishta, and Kshotriya means who has heard it and then established himself in that truth. There are many people who have heard, but they have not established themselves in the truth. Hearing is done by a lot more people. The getting established in the truth is fewer people. So Sadguru indicates both Brahmanishta and Kshotriya. Pranatosmiham, I salute. This is my salutations. And also who is Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam. Gochara is cannot be agochar. With Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta agochar means he cannot be known by the senses. I told you go means senses. This Paramananda, this supreme bliss, this whoever has this nature of supreme bliss cannot be known by the senses, and it can only be known through Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta, through the Vedas. The Vedas talk about two things, Dharma and Brahma. Dharma is what is to be done, and the doing is to gain Brahma. And Brahma there means Brahman, the supreme reality. So only through that, means only through Shabda Praman, the different Pramanas will come. We have 6 means of knowledge from where we can get knowledge, and one of them is the Shabda Praman. And Vedas they fall under Shabda Praman, and that is the only way of attaining this Brahma, this knowledge of Brahman. Tamagocharam. So the one who can be known and who can then be, the ignorance can be removed. Tamas is ignorance. So by the removal of ignorance, the one who can be known is Govinda. That Govinda can be my own Guru, who is of the nature of this supreme bliss. So he equates Guru to God. That is what he's doing. If you take it as Guru, or you just take it as God, then he is describing the supreme reality. This first verse of many, many chapters oh sorry, many books you will see Prakran Grantha is a book of definitions. This also is a Prakran Grantha, by the way. It is a book of definitions, and I will explain that in a minute. The first verse will always be a salutation to either God or Guru. And the reason for that is humility. That I'm embarking on this task of writing this book. Please bless me. So what happens is on the side of the writer, the writer's humility comes forth. That I cannot do this thing on my own. I need your blessings to complete this task. Okay. The takeaway for us here is that, of course, we'll say that, oh, but I'm not writing any book, or I don't even intend or plan to write a book. But no, but I do a lot of things during the day. So anything that you do, idea is to invoke the Lord's grace in that. Because it is our ego who feels that I can do everything. I can drive, I can go here, I know the way, I know this, I know that, and that is the ego. To subdue the ego, this humility is required. And in chapter 18, Bhagwan says that there are 5 things that are required to complete a task. And the last thing he says is the thumb, and the thumb is me, he says. It's me. The last thing, you need my grace to accomplish anything. Anything in your life, like in your day-to-day work, just simple driving, simple going anywhere, simple phoning, anything to accomplish any work. Bhagwan has said in Bhagavad Gita that you do require my grace. So to invoke that grace, we must try and think of the Lord every time we embark on any task. For us, in most Indian families, that is the idea of lighting a lamp in the first thing in the morning, before starting on anything, going to work, cooking, whatever that, we do during the day. The first thing we do is we light a lamp. That is the idea of lighting the lamp, is that you are then invoking the Lord in all your day's work. So it's very simple. You can do it once, but as you go further in your spiritual practice, then each time you embark on something, you take the name of the Lord, so that you're increasing your memory. Like, the times that you remember the Lord, you're increasing. But you have to start with the first thing in the morning, and that is very simple. I'm sure all of us do it, but then bring this into practice as well. Okay. Prakran Grantha, I told you, is a book of definitions, and those who have studied Tattva Bodh, Atma Bodh, Drigdrish Vivek, all the books, they fall under this category of book of definitions. The book of definitions does not give us any new idea. Please remember, the purpose of this book of definition is to simplify the ideas from the Upanishads. Upanishads are a part of the Vedas, and the Upanishadic language is extremely mystic. It is hard to understand. It is a lot of times it's extremely contradictory. The words contradict each other, and there can be a lot of confusion. So to simplify those things, the compassionate masters have written. This is written by somebody, thought and written. So they fall under Smriti, and they are written by somebody. Bhagwan Shankaracharya, we have Swami Vidyaranya, Madhusudan Saraswati. We have a lot of authors like that who have written, and the only reason is to make the ideas from the Upanishads simple for us, simple to understand. That is the purpose of a Prakran Grantha, or a book of definitions. Okay. In this book, this Viveka is going to be done. Like I told you, discrimination is going to be done. And Bhagwan Shankaracharya, even though he was an avatar of Lord Shivji, he salutes his own Guru. We also see in Bhagwan Shri Krishna's life, Guru Sandipani was there. A Guru is extremely essential, and we'll see of course Bhagwan himself will be saying, so we'll see why, but Guru is very essential in our life. Okay, any questions? Everybody okay? All right. Verse number 2. Jantūnām narajanma durlabhamata punsvam tato viprata tasmād vaidika dharma marga parata vidvatmasmātma param atmanatma vivechanam svanubhavo brahmatmana samsthitihi Tirno shata janma koti sukrutaihi punnirvina labhyate. For all living creatures, a human birth is indeed rare. Much more difficult it is to attain full manhood. Rarer than this is a sattvic attitude in life. Even after gaining all these rare chances, to have steadfastness on the path of spiritual activity, as explained in Vedic literature, is yet rarer. Much more so to have a correct knowledge of the deep significances of the scriptures. Discrimination between the real and the unreal, a personal experience of spiritual glory, and ultimately to get fully established in the living consciousness that the self in me is the self in all, these come only later on and culminate in one's liberation. This kind of a perfect liberation cannot be had without earned merits of 100 crores of lives lived intelligently. So imagine how important this verse is. Jantunam nara janma durlabhamataha. Jantu, coming from the root jayate, to be born. Jantu is anything that is born. That's Jantu. If you see Marathi, Jantu means insect. And even though we have human birth, and if we don't try to get this moksha, we are like insects only. We'll be born and we'll be dead, and then again we'll be born in some other unit. So Jantu means anyone who is born. So who is born? Animals are born, birds are born, reptiles, fishes, plants also are born, and humans are born too. So among all of the beings that are born, Nara Janma Durlabhamataha. Nara now is human being. Nara means man. Nari means woman. But please, Nara means includes man and woman. So don't think that, oh God, Bhagavan didn't include us. No, he included the women folk too. So Nara Janma Durlabhataha. So he says it's very rare. Now the first question that might come to you, Jesus, what is the world population now? Billions and trillions? How can that be Durlabha then? But if you compare it to, because that's why it says Jantunam. Now compare it to all the beings who are born. So as compared, you're including reptiles, you're including birds, you're including insects, you're including, even the fungus, everything. If you include in that, the percentage of humans is very little. It is not, we think humans are so many humans, but if you go, you can't even count. If you go to the forest, the number of animals and the insects and the reptiles and the fishes, I don't think there is any count of those. But there are innumerable jantus. Jantu means innumerable beings that are born. In that innumerable, if we have got a human birth, know that it is very, very rare. So right there is the importance of the human birth, which most of us are just wasting. Durlabha. Punswam tato viprata. So in that punswam, there are so many humans that are born. How many really reach full manhood? There is so much infant mortality, right? Birth is there. Stillborn children are there. Death in early ages is there. So to reach an age where you can intelligently understand something, before that so much death is happening. Okay, so that's why it is said that human birth is rare, but it is even difficult to attain full manhood. Okay, and then, okay, there are so many people who have attained manhood. Say, how many of them have this attitude to get into this knowledge? If you look at Bhagavad Gita chapter 7 verse 3, there also Bhagavan himself says that among thousands and thousands and thousands of people, only hundreds try to aspire me, try to aspire me. And among those hundreds, only one can reach. One may reach me, not can. One may reach me. That is how rare it is to follow on this path, because it is very, very difficult. The path is not that easy. So that is why. Then that's why tasmat Vaidika dharma marga parata. Vaidika dharma means this Vedic knowledge. To follow this marg, follow the marga path, to follow the path of this Vedic dharma is even rarer, because for this a lot of preparation is required, a lot of sattvic attitude of the mind is required. And even if the person attains full manhood, there is so much extrovertedness that to get this sattvic attitude is rare. Vidvat tvam tasmat param. So to have, okay, then there are many people who follow. I mean, I have known many people who have, have attended classes, mission classes, and they just drop off. So think about it. Among all these beings, there is the human birth, which is rare. Among the human birth, to get full manhood is rarer. So if we've reached a stage where we can understand, we are lucky. Then in that, people who understand, if they have a sattvic attitude, that is rare. So that is again very lucky. Sattvic attitude to follow the Vedic path, and then to remain steadfast on that path, that is even more difficult. That's why Kathopanishad says it is like walking on a razor's edge. This is how the path is. It is like walking on a razor's edge. People get bored, people get this thing. There is no, and reasons for that is people don't follow what instructions are given, and then they think, oh, this is the same thing is being said all over again, because there is no change in them. So to remain on the path, to have that firm belief, firm faith that this is it, there is nothing other than this, to have that is very difficult. And that's why it is said that to remain steadfast is extremely difficult. Then just to do discrimination between real and unreal, which is the highest discrimination. For that, to reach that stage of discrimination, we have to actually start with Shreya Preya Vivek. Shreya Preya is what is good and what is pleasing, what is good for me and what is pleasing to my senses. Even that Vivek, so many of us don't have. So if we don't have that basic Vivek, it is very difficult to reach this highest, which is between the real and unreal. So to have that, and then the glory, and ultimately to get fully, means to realize is extreme. So how many realized masters do we see in this world? So if you take the count, so many living beings, then fewer humans, fewer human beings reaching the stage of maturity. Then among those, fewer wanting to be on this path, then fewer remaining on this path, and then even fewer realizing, doing the discrimination, and then reaching. This is what in verse 3 Bhagavan has said in chapter 7. Among thousands, only hundreds try, and among hundreds, maybe one might reach me. And then Bhagavan Shankaracharya says that remember that this mukti, this liberation, Shata Janma Koti Sukrutaihi, means in crores of births you have to have done good work, good karma. And that without that sort of punya, that much punya, this punyar vina labhyate, without that that punya, which in crores of birth which I have accumulated. In his Mundaka Upanishad commentary, Bhagavan says that this good work that we do in crores and crores and crores of birth, all that karma fructifies in the form of a guru and stands in front of us. And then that guru gives us that knowledge to cross over this ocean of samsara. Okay, so what is the takeaway for us? Don't take this life for granted. Don't waste it. Don't waste it. I know some of you are very young. Yeah, and yes, you have to enjoy life. Shruti understands that. But at least 80% you enjoy, for the young people. 20% try to put your mind in these type of subjects, reading these type of books. Okay, understand the glory of human birth. Don't just think that, oh, and there is a misunderstanding among some people who think that once I got a human birth means forever and ever I'll keep getting human birth only. That is a mistake. That is wrong. Because from human birth, you can go down. Bhagavad Gita says that, Bhagavad Puran says that. That is praman for us. So please understand that depending on what type of actions you do in this human birth, you could end up as an animal or a plant or even a mineral, a stone. Okay, so don't waste this opportunity that we have got. If we have got human birth, then we have done 50% punya, 50% papa. That's why we have come. And now, and this is the only earth, the mortal world is the only field from which you can get liberation. So even the devatas in the heavens, they want to come as mortals, because through the heavens, there is no liberation. It is a bhoga bhumi. It is meant only for enjoying life. And in that enjoyment, there is no knowledge that comes, because the jiva is only very much into enjoying. And that's what it's meant for. So please remember that. All right. Do read Gurudev's commentary. I'm not, I'm just explaining it in my way. Now, Durlabham trayamevaittad devanugraha hetukam manushatvam mumukshutvam mahapurusha saushrayah. Manhood, burning desire for liberation, the capacity to surrender completely to a man of wisdom, these three things are rare indeed. And wherever they are found, they are due to the Lord's own grace. So once again, he talks about the rarity. So if we are studying this text, Durlabham, it's very, very rare. Very rare that this thought will come to us that let us study this text and let us join this class, right? So these three things, he says, are very rare. One is the manhood, means full manhood you have reached, but with sattvic attitude. And then the mumukshutvam, the burning desire for liberation, and then a surrender to a guru. Guru will come in further verses, and I will tell you. So surrender is extremely difficult for us because of the ego. The ego does not want to surrender. My acharya used to say, surrender means sar, under, means head under the feet of the guru or God. And that it's very difficult for the ego to do that. The ego does not like those kinds of things. So if we have surrendered to a guru, and actually life becomes very easy when we surrender to somebody, because when we really truly surrender, then we have given all our worries to that guru or that God, and then we can live our life freely. And not freely means not licentiousness, not like that, but we can be free of our day-to-day worries and concentrate on the studies. So these three things are very rare. And if we are here, we have surrendered to our guru, we are studying this text, and we have got, then imagine it's a very rare, it's a very precious thing. So don't waste it. Don't waste the opportunity. If you get an opportunity to study Vedanta, then don't waste it. Don't waste it. Okay. Now, Labdhva katham chinnarjan. No, 1 sec. That's why I've done this. I've recorded, so I'm going to. Labdhva katham. Okay, I got it. Labdhva katham. Labdhva katham chinnarajanma durlabham tatrapi punsvam shruti paradarshanam yatsvatma muktau nayateta mudhadihi sahyatmaha swam vinihantya sadgrahat. Is there a man who, having somehow gained a human embodiment, and there having a masculine temperament and also a complete knowledge of the scriptures, is foolish enough not to strive hard for self-realization? He verily commits suicide, clinging to things unreal. So there's a few things that we have to understand here, and Gurudev has given the subheading, miseries of the unspiritual man. So now there is a person who has got human image, which already is said to get human birth is rare. Okay, that was said. Then to gain manhood is even rarer, because of infant mortality. So this person has now gained manhood also. And having a masculine, now when I first read this, first, 10 years ago, I thought, oh, what does he mean? Like, do I have to be a man? Can I not be a woman? Now this masculine temperament, even in Bhagavad Gita, it comes, Bhagavan says you have to have a masculine temperament to gain this knowledge. And of course, being a woman, you think, what does he mean? Like what? As a woman, I cannot realize. It's not that. It is qualities of fearlessness, courage. Generally, those which are considered as masculine, that men have. Men are courageous. Men are fearless. Women are, weak. They're very fearful, worrisome. So it is the quality. So masculine temperament doesn't mean gender, but man-like qualities means being fearless, being courageous, willing to take go into the unknown. People are afraid to go into the unknown. Women are afraid to go into the dark. I mean, I know my friends who are afraid to go on the highway even, but that sort of thing, like drive on the highway. No, Surrey, no, that's in the boonies. I don't drive to Surrey. I live in Vancouver. So that type of things we should not have. So it is not, doesn't mean man, it includes man and woman. So even there are men who are afraid to do that, then they are not, Bhagavan says they are not fit for this, because it's a very, very difficult path. That's why. So these qualities one must develop, and Bhagavan will explain how we can become fearless, etc. So that is what is meant, masculine temperament, and also a complete knowledge of the scriptures. So he knows that there is this thing, and yet is foolish enough not to strive hard. Means what? He knows this knowledge is there, but he doesn't strive for it. Why? Because most of the reason is because there is weakness in the mind. The mind is not as pure, and because the mind is not pure, it is not as strong to stay on the path, and then it gets very easily pulled in outside extroverted activities. My Acharya had given us an example once. He said a person came to him and said, "Oh, Swamiji, I was thinking of coming for your yajna, but then my friend came and he wanted to play cards. So I just played cards with him." And then Swamiji said, "Yeah, but he said play cards. Why did you not tell him, let's go for yajna and both of you come for yajna? Why should you listen to him?" Like, and don't give that excuse. So that is what this is. Like, he knows, but he can't. He's weak, like, so I get that asked all the time. Why are you doing so much for the mission? Why you do this? So, we should not waver. The one who is with a weak mind, who is a weak mind, who is not firm about the path. See, if there is a doubt of the path, then what happens is when somebody says something, then your faith shakes, your belief shakes. But if you know that you're doing the correct thing, then there is no reason to shake. So then you would never, go with them, right? You would say, no, I'm going to do this. And if after that, if I have time, I'll come with you, or you also come with me and attend this. So this is masculine, and also complete knowledge is foolish enough not to strive hard for self-realization. It's not strive, because see, self-realization is complete bliss. What people don't understand is that all our life, everything that we are doing is for happiness. We never do anything to gain sorrow. We never say, I want to get married because I want to be sorrowful. I want to have children so that I'll be sorrowful. We don't say that. But what people don't realize is that what happiness that they think is happiness is really not happiness. It is actually sorrow. That part people are not convinced. They think that is happiness. External world is happiness. And because of that, it becomes very difficult to make them, to convince them that that is not real happiness. This is what is eternal bliss. And this is what will take you away from the thraldom of sansar. Sansar is you're going up and down, up and down. Today you're sad, tomorrow this. Such a person, he verily commits suicide. Now this word we must understand. Atma ha is the word. Ha is to kill. Atma, he kills himself. Atma, himself. So it is not a physical suicide. But what it is the thing is, Atma, how can you kill Atma? Atma is not born and can never be killed. So when the bird, this Atma, he verily commits suicide means what? Means there is an Atma, but now he has refused to acknowledge it. Right? It's as good as he has killed that Atma. Because even though it is there, he chooses not to recognize it. He chooses not to go after it. So that is what is meant by this Atmaha. So you know it, and yet you choose not to go. So it's as if it's this thing. Or you just don't know it is there. Most of the people don't even know. So then it's as good as not existing for you. Something that you don't know, it's as good as it doesn't exist for you. So it's not there for you. That is what is meant by Sahyatma, Savinihantya Sadgrahat. So and Asadgrahat. So Asadgrahat, grahan to grahan is to grasp. So what he's doing is he is holding on to the world. And the world is literally slipping away from his hands, but he doesn't even realize that. He tries to hold on to those little joys and pleasures that he thinks, those things, that he thinks this will give me pleasure, that will give me pleasure. And he keeps on doing those things over and over again, because after a while that pleasure goes, and then again he's running after something else. It's like a tissue box. You have a Kleenex tissue box. You pull one tissue and one desire is fulfilled, the other one is waiting there. And that's therefore the running is constant. The person is constantly running after happiness without knowing that he himself is the source of happiness. And so he has actually, that source he has killed because he's not acknowledging it. Either he doesn't know it is there, or he knows it is there, but he doesn't strive. He still clings to this unreal world. And we will see what unreal world is, etc. It will come. Itakonस्वति मूढ़ात्मा यस्तु स्वार्थे प्रमाद्यति दुर्लभम मानुषम देहम prapya tatrapi paurusham. Is there a greater fool, Bhagavan is asking, than the man who, having got the rare chance of a human birth and thereto the masculine qualities of the head and heart, falls short in his efforts to rediscover himself? So, but it's as though Bhagavan is lamenting. It's sad. But the problem is that people don't even realize that this birth is rare. They think, okay, I've gotten this birth. They don't know it's rare. They don't know it's precious. They don't know that there is something called Atma, permanent happiness, Paramananda, bliss. They don't know all this. So Bhagavan says he's the greatest fool. Here, fool, Mudha, when is used by Bhagavan Shankaracharya anywhere in a Vedantic text, it doesn't mean uneducated. It does not mean that. This could be very highly educated people. So it is not anything to do with education. It is this Mudha word, and Vimudha, Bhagavan in Bhagavad Gita uses Visheshena Mudha. Visheshena foolish means those who don't recognize this path to bliss. Those who don't recognize are Mudha. They could be very highly educated. And there are many of our saints who were totally uneducated. But they were on this path and they gained that supreme bliss. So that is one. Durlabham manusham deham prapya. They've got this rare manusha deha, they got human deha, human body they got. I told you, liberation is possible only through human body. It is not possible through animal body, and it is not possible through deva body, like devatas in the heavens. It is not possible. It is only possible through here because we have the choice of karma. That choice animals don't have and devatas don't have. Devatas have no choice of karma. Why? Because it is only enjoy. They don't have to do anything. They have earned that merit in this life. They have earned those merits to they're just in a 5-star hotel where food is served, spa is there, massage, everything is all there. So why would they do any karma? Why do they need to do any karma? They don't. That's why it is not possible. Animals don't have a choice. They are programmed to live by instinct. So they don't have a choice. A cow never says I'm anemic, I should have some red meat or vitamin iron tablets. Cow doesn't think like that. She can't. She will go on eating grass throughout her life. So that is why it is not possible. So that's why this human birth becomes even more precious. So that's why he says, Tatrapi Paurusham, like he has grown, he has attained full manhood, he has gained this, but alas, alas, it is alas. Vadantu shastrani yajantu devan kurvantu karmani bhajantu devataha atmaikya bodhena vina vimuktihi na siddhyati brahma shatantarepi. Let erudite scholars quote all the scriptures. Let gods be invoked through sacrifices. Let elaborate rituals be performed. Let personal gods be propitiated. Yet, without the experience of one's identity with the self, there shall be no liberation for the individual, not even in the lifetime of 100 Brahmas put together. What he's referring, Vadantu Shastrani, Vadantu is to speak. So they are speaking, you know, it is falling under action. Speaking, speech is an action. But they have a lot of knowledge of the Shastras and they go on teaching. You know, there are many people who are teaching Bhagavad Gita in universities. So there are a lot of people who are teaching the scriptures. This is very elaborate, said in Kathopanishad, this comes, that you may be very erudite, you may be a very erudite scholar, but you cannot get liberation just because you are very you're a very scholarly person, you know Sanskrit very well, you know the scriptures very well. That is not a fit qualification for liberation. Yajantu Devan is doing pujas, you know, rituals, the yajnas. So they are propitiating the gods by the fire ritual or by puja, the Shodashopchar puja. So again, it is falling under karma. This is a speaking karma, that is a doing karma. So they're doing pujas, etc. And they're very, very strict about it. That is what they're doing. Kurvantu karmani bhajantu devataha. Kurvanti karma. So they're doing these karmas to worship the gods. So, you know, these rituals, the karma kanda, this is talking about karma kanda people, those who are into karma kanda. So they are doing a whole lot of rituals, elaborate pujas. They maybe know the scriptures, they have studied the scriptures, they are talking about the scriptures, all these things they may be doing. But Atmaika Bodhena, unless they recognize the oneness between Atma and Brahma, Atma, individual self, Brahma, total self, total supreme reality, unless that Jiva, Ishvara, Bheda is not removed, unless that oneness is, it's a recognition, it is not an action. So unless that is recognized, Vina Mukti na Siddhyati, they will not get Mukti in Brahm, in the 100 lives of lifetime of 100 Brahmas. You know, 100, you know what is the lifetime of one Brahmaji? One Brahma, see, Brahmaji is day is like the 4 yugas. Is it 4,000? 4 yugas times 1,000 is Brahmaji's day. Chapter 8, this comes in Bhagavad Gita. And then when he closes his eyes and he goes to sleep, his one night is another 4 yugas times 1,000. So in 100 lives of that Brahma, imagine, in there is a text called Manache Shlok. Manache Shloka is verses to the mind, written by Samarth Ramdas. Samarth Ramdas is the spiritual guru of Shivaji. You may know Shivaji's name. Shivaji was a great warrior, Maharashtra, in in Maharashtra. And his spiritual guru is was Samarth Ramdas, who was a devotee, great devotee of Sri Ram. He had done this japa, Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, 13 lakh times. By the way, for those of you who are into japa, when you take a mantra like Om Namah Shivaya or Sri Ram, Jai Ram, the number of syllables, that many lakh times, if you do that japa, that deity will stand in front of you. Best is Om Namah Shivaya, 5 syllables, only 5 lakh times. Shri Ram Jai Ram is 13. So 13 lakh times when you do Shri Ram Jai Ram, Shri Ram comes and stands in front of you. So this is what Samarth Ramdas is said to have done, standing in water. Standing in water, he did 13 lakh times Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Sri Ram came in front of him, gave him the Advaita knowledge. And Samarth Ramdas in his Manache Shloka, in his verses, one of the verses, he says, the one who cannot give up this identification with the body cannot get liberation till the end of the Kalpa. Means all 4 yugas they will go through, but as long you know, when they launch a rocket into space, that rocket is tied to the earth by these ropes, and those are the ones that are snapped first. If that rocket has to be launched, those, if you have seen when previously they would launch they launched this rocket to the moon, etc., those ropes were there. Those are the ropes, those are the very strong ropes. Those are the ropes that bind us to this body, make us feel we are the body. They are the strongest. That is the strongest identification, that this is me, this body is me, I am this body. This is the strongest identity. So unless this is given up, you're not even launching into the path. And so Samarth Ramdas says that as long as you're holding on to this body identification, till the end of the kalpa, you will not get this liberation. So the first step is to understand, to get established in the fact that I'm not the body. You may not know who you are. That's okay. That's not a problem. But please don't consider yourself to be the body. And of course, that description also Bhagavan will give. So I'm not going to go into what the body is. It'll come. It'll come. And later on, he'll actually say it's a garbage bag. But okay, let's not do that right in the beginning of the text. People will get scared and run away. So this is what is being said here, that what is going to give you liberation is the understanding. That's it. Not any karma, not quoting the scriptures, not giving lectures. So, you know, that needs to be understood. Okay, that is what is being said here. We will stop here today. Are there any questions so far? Okay, pretty simple to follow now. That is the whole idea of the book of, I see Meera smiling. So Meera, you don't think it's that simple to follow? It's, I mean,
I agree. I think it was very straightforward when you read through it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's you know, it's very simple. It's what is not simple is following it. That is what becomes very difficult. Understanding is there. So the reason we listen to these texts is to get established in the understanding. See, we have to abide in that understanding. Forget abiding in Brahman, that is far away, but at least let's abide in the understanding that I'm not the body. That is the basic. Because it's very easy to know that I'm not this computer and I'm not this photograph and I'm not the house. It's very easy, very, very easy. Clothes even, you know, I wear the clothes, but of course I'm not the clothes. That is easy. But when it comes to the body, that's where we get caught. So it's very, very important to understand. Okay, and this will be dealt with those who are attending the Monday class. This is the whole topic. Idam shariram kaunteya iti abhidiyate. Okay, kshetram iti abhidiyate. That's what Bhagwan will talk about, is the body. So if there are no questions, we will stop.